guys, welcome back again to my kitchen. Today I am going to show you guys how to make a Christmas or a New Year or just a birthday or any kind of celebration. My turkey or my chicken baked in my oven. So if you want me to show you how, come on and ride with me. Let's go. Let's talk about the chicken. This is a 5-pound chicken. Now guys, I'm going to do this the same way like I would do a turkey for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or for New Year's. So this is a 5-pound roaster. Okay, make sure guys you clean this thing thoroughly. Make sure you take out your inside and make sure you wash it with vinegar. And make sure you put it with lemon, with a lemon or lemon juice. Wash it. Make sure you pick off the feathers, guys. We don't need to eat chicken or turkey or any one of them things there with feathers. So make sure you clean this thing thoroughly before you start putting seasoning on it. So let's move to the next step and let me show you what spices I'm going to be using. What I'm going to be adding to my chicken is carrots. I'm going to also be adding potatoes. I have a medium-sized onion chopped. I'm going to be adding some fresh thyme. If you have dried thyme, you could use that as well. I'm also going to add some red pepper and some yellow pepper. You are going to need paprika, crushed red pepper, garlic, parsley, allspice or pimento seed, black pepper, paprika, salt, all-purpose seasoning. This is Jamaican all-purpose seasoning. We're also going to add basil leaves, vinegar, half a cup of ketchup, butter, chicken broth, and chicken stuffing. Trick to my dish is crushed pineapples. I'm going to show you how I combine all these together. So let me show you. So we're going to move on to the next step. Is to make your stuffing. I have a pot of chicken broth, and that's a cup and a half of chicken broth. I'm going to start off with a cup and a half. So you go ahead and you throw your stuffings in. 2 teaspoons of butter or margarine. A half a cup of crushed pineapple. Now use a chunky pineapple in there. Make sure you use the crushed pineapple. And add some more of the chicken broth. Just to make sure you have the right consistency. So I'm going to add a little bit more chicken broth. Within about 5 minutes this should be done. I'm going to let this sit here and I'm going to let it cool. So this is what that looks like. Moving to the next step. I'm going to get my seasoning ready to put on my chicken. Alright? So make sure you watch this step very carefully. Half a teaspoon of red crushed pepper. 1 teaspoon of paprika. 1 teaspoon of garlic. Half a teaspoon of parsley, half a teaspoon of basil leaves, half a teaspoon of pimento seed, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of Jamaican all-purpose seasoning, 2 teaspoons of vinegar, 1 cup of ketchup, and make sure you add your salt. I'm going to add about a half teaspoon of salt in here. I'm going to add a little bit of that chicken broth in here. It's very simple, that's all you need. Basically, that is what it should look like when you get done with that. Okay guys, so now I'm going to move on to my next step. What I'm going to do now, the first thing is I'm going to go ahead and stuff inside of the chicken, and I'm going to be using that stuffing that we made. Make sure that your hands are clean, guys, because we're going to be using our hands for this. So what you're doing, you're getting all of that. So after I get the stuffing inside of the chicken like that, now I'm going to go ahead and season this meat. Alright? Now the remainder of the stuffing that I have, I'm going to use a little bit of that stuffing underneath the skin. of the chicken. So you go ahead and stuff it like that. Do not cut the skin off because you're going to need that skin to keep the chicken nice and moist when you're baking it. Or if you cut it off, then the chicken going to be dry. You don't need dry chicken. Now that I stuff the chicken under the skin and inside of the chicken, the next thing I'm going to do is get that glaze that I made earlier, and I'm just going to pour it all over it. And make sure your hands are clean, because you're going to be using your hands to rub this thing on. So that's how it's supposed to look with that step. I'm going to go ahead and add my potatoes in and my carrots around the pan, and my onions as well, and my thyme, my sweet pepper. Now I'm done with this step. Alright, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get my foil paper and I'm going to put it over the container. I'm going to put this in my refrigerator and let it sit there for, you can do it for overnight. If you don't want to do that overnight, make sure you make this thing marinate for at least an hour, a full hour before you put it in the oven. When you bake this, you should bake it 350 degrees for about an hour and 15 minutes. But you are going to take this off within about 45 minutes. You're going to take it out of the oven and you're going to take the foil paper off, put it back into your oven and let it bake again for 30 full minutes because you want it to get color. Alright, so depending on the color that you want your chicken or your turkey to be, you go ahead and put it back in the oven. If you was baking a turkey, it would take nothing less than 2 hours because turkey is a harder meat and it takes longer to cook. So this should take about an hour and 15 minutes. The chicken is all done. Let's see what it looks like. There you go. Now don't forget guys, this chicken was baked for about total an hour and a half. Remember, after you cover it up with the foil paper, let it bake for a full hour, then you take it off, take off the foil paper, put it back in the oven and let it bake again for a full half an hour, and that way you will get your color on top. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, from my kitchen to your kitchen, enjoy! I'm going to let this cook for a good 30 minutes on medium heat. Cover it up nice and make it simmer. And when it's done simmer, it's time for we eat. So see you back in a few minutes.
So this is in with your foundation, full coverage, you know, like bam. And last but not least, the last thing I tend to go for in my makeup collection is this palette right here. Let me show you what this baby looks like. It has a whole bunch of concealers. I believe it's $10 for this palette.